Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Oliver, there's something different about you.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. It's good or bad?
Outstanding. Outstanding. Hi,
Okay, I'll
Bobby.
take it.
Hi Doris. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Bobby, you know I'm in Wisconsin at that conference.
It's
Oh, yeah.
the one in Wisconsin.
Yes, that you were at with me 2 years ago.
You went.
Yeah.
Oh, you have fun. You learn a lot.
Oh, it starts in the morning.
Okay.
I knew the background looked different, but I knew you were somewhere.
Okay.
Well, have fun.
Okay.
Okay.
We're live.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. The Board of Trustees meeting August the 11th, 2025 at 4:31 p.m. Public School Retirement System of the City of St. Louis. We'll start off with roll call, Sue.
Christina Bennett,
Present.
Candace Carter Oliver,
Present.
Lewis Cross,
Present.
Emily Hubbard,
Present.
Shanice Johnson,
Present.
Kimberly Johnson Miller, Yvette Levy,
She's coming off.
Jennifer Orr,
She said she was.
Bobby Richardson,
Present.
Albert Sanders,
Present.
Doris Walker.
Doris.
Sorry, I was on mute. Present.
Okay.
Oh, I know she's there.
Yeah, we have what, 7?
All right, so we have 9.
9? Okay. Okay, well, welcome everyone, and we'll start off with the approval of the minutes of the last meetings. Tab 1, Board of Trustees regular meeting, June the 16th, 2025. Is there a motion to accept?
I would like to make a motion to accept the Board of Trustee regular meeting June 16, 2025.
A second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, next, reading of communications of the Board of Trustees. Any?
I don't have any.
No reading of any communications. Presentation by interested parties. Do we have that?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Consent agenda approval of retirement and benefits, July and August 2025. Is there a motion to pass that?
Yes, Richardson would like to make a motion to accept the retirements and benefits, July and August 2025.
Second.
Okay, moving properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Approval of refunds and bills, June and July of 2025. Is there a motion to accept?
Richardson would like to make a motion to accept the refund distribution paid June and July 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, unfinished business. Any unfinished business? Okay, report of the chairperson. I think my report will be presented under legislation with the passage of the bill. So I'm going to defer that to the co-chairs of that committee, Doris Walker and Dr. Yvette Lee. Okay.
Has she signed on yet? Did Dr. Levy sign on yet?
Not in on yet, no.
There's somebody in the background. We're going to have to get that stopped, whatever that is. whatever that is.
I don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Levy's not on just yet.
Okay. Report of Executive Director, tab 4, Sue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have just a few items before we move over. We have some guests here to do some presentations for us today. So just a couple of items that I wanted to note. Just a reminder on the conferences that we do still have the NCTR annual conference that will be the first part of October. So if anybody is interested in attending that conference, if you could let me know by the end of the week. I've heard from some people already, but if there's anybody else that wants to attend, please let me know by the end of the week, and then I will get everybody registered. And then also just wanted to mention again that we are continuing to move forward with our system project. So we do have an update on that in the office update there, so you can kind of follow along if anybody has any questions. But we are about finished with the first deliverable of 5. So very excited to continue to keep moving forward with that project. So I'll always keep putting updates in the board packet for you. So if you have questions at any point in time, please let me know. All right. So at this point, I wanted to introduce, we do have some guest presenters today. This time of year in August, we have our insurance that we always look at. And so this year we did a couple of RFPs. And so we have to walk through some of the different items and decisions that the trustees have to make. So we have an insurance consultant that we work with, and that is Gallagher. So we have Diane from Gallagher, and we have Joy from Gallagher that we'll hear from in just a second. And then, of course, we have our very own Monica Brewer. She is our insurance consultant, and she is the hub for everything insurance related here in the office. So I'm going to turn it over to Diane and Joy. I'll get your presentation up here, but I will turn it over to Diane and Joy.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I recognize some faces, and so it's nice to see you again. This is actually my 3rd time presenting to you all. So this is great. I do have a new partner with me. Joy Layden has joined me, and she is a tremendous help. She's done a lot of work here, which we'll go over in a little while. I'm just gonna kick it off. The first couple of screens I'm gonna kind of breeze through because we want to spend more time on the market checks and what we uncovered and give you some details and stuff. So here's just an agenda. Again, it's going to follow suit to what we've done previously. The Gallagher team, you've met us. There's a communication side too, which we'll just remind you of. We'll take a look at where we are now and all the benefits. We'll also look at, how's the enrollment doing, current versus what it was last year. We'll talk about the market checks we did. We also did some program negotiations because this year there were four of the benefits rate guarantees were ending at the end of this year. So we did have a little bit of work to do this year. We'll talk about we'll give you the 2026 renewal summary, and then afterwards we'll move into open enrollment, the motions. Okay. So on the next page, just as an FYI, there are actually 2 teams that work with Susan and Monica. Of course, we have the communications team, and they work with Susan and Monica, the annual report, open enrollment. I think they're working on a flyer right now. So they work together on all sorts of communication things to help out. And then Joy and me on the consultant side. And 100% of what we do is all public sector, schools, towns. We work with all coverages, all plan lines, all different funding arrangements. And of course, Public Retirement School of St. Louis is one of our main clients. On the next page. So this is just a look at where we are today. So last year we did the renewals. Here's where we are today. For St. Louis Public Schools, we have the base and the buy-up plans with United Healthcare and Express Scripts, which came in at an average increase last year of 14.8%. And that is really normal. Double digits is what we're seeing. The trend, the cost of services has just spiked, whether you're doing outpatient services at a hospital, whether you're getting chemo treatments, to even the drugs. The cost of drugs have exploded. So we'll tell you what the renewal's looking like today. We don't have the rates, but we'll go through that. On the medical side, the Medicare Advantage plan was last market checked in 2022. At that point in time, the group had a $0 premium and it was guaranteed for 3 years. Unfortunately, there was a lot of Medicare changes last year that we walked through with you, that United Healthcare could just, they couldn't hold the $0. They had to come back with a $50 renewal, which was a hefty hit to the group. In 2025, we decided we're going to put it out to bid. And it was a pretty successful RFP bid. It did what it was supposed to do. So we'll get to that shortly. We did the dental bid last year and we went through the executive summary with you. So it's actually guaranteed through December 31st, 27. It was a 3% increase and the rates are guaranteed for the 3 years. Then you have vision. And that was conducted back in 2021. So that was before I was here. I think it was Mike and Mark had done it. And you'd moved to IMED for January 22 with rate guarantees through December 31st, 25. And then also you had 2 additional new coverages which were implemented back in 23. You have the MetLife prepaid legal coverage, which rates are guaranteed through December 31st, and all state identity theft protection, which was also rates guaranteed through December 31st. So you can see that we had, 4 different benefits to work on this year. And I think you'll like what we have to present to you. So we'll move on. So what we like to do is we usually look at enrollment year over year, and usually what we do is we give you the current enrollment and then last year's enrollment. And I decided to keep 2023 because it starts telling you a story of, migration patterns and what's going on. On the first 2, the Stop Loss Public Schools, the sponsored United Healthcare commercial plans without Medicare, you can see that the enrollment has gone down slightly. Starting in 2023, we're at 66, went to 59, went to 55. And then we also saw a decline in enrollment on the UHC commercial plans with Medicare, which went all the way from 378 to 217 to 182. And Susan and Monica really has done a lot of marketing on this and gotten people to move off of these plans and over to the Medicare Advantage plan. So kudos to her. And then lastly on this page, the Medicare Advantage plans. As you recall, we got rid of the gold option and now the high option and the low option are offered. And this shows you, so you can see the migration, the 2023, the gold option, they kind of went a little into each of the plans, the high-low plans. And then utilization is about the same here. So it hasn't really changed a whole lot. And then we have the dental of Missouri. And actually, the enrollment has gone down just slightly here. In 2023, it was 2553. And then last year went to 2479. And this year it's at 2418. So a little bit a dip in the enrollment in the dental plans. The same with the IMED Vision. IMED was at 2746. Then it went to 2673 and then to 2614. The Allstate Identity Theft Protection and the MetLife prepaid legal plans, you could see that they're really gaining traction. I mean, immensely. The Allstate Identity Theft from 85 all the way to 198 this year. And then the MetLife prepaid legal plan went from 103 to 240. And we did put a couple of slides in here for the utilization, just so that you can see how it's being used, what it's being used for. All right, and so we did some market checks. So I'll let Joy go through this and give you some details on the market checks.
Okay, so what we did was we took the current claims and enrollment and benefit summaries, developed an RFP, and sent that out to the market. We had sent it out to 5 carriers. 3 submitted quotes and 2 declined to quotes. So the quotes that we received were from United Healthcare, which is the incumbent, Humana, and Anthem. And the declines were Cigna and Aetna. They couldn't compete with the 20% current rates that United Healthcare wound up with. We reviewed the financials, the benefits, the networks, and all the additional extra benefits that are part of a Medicare Advantage plan. So we selected a finalist. United Healthcare was asked to make a presentation with their best and final offer, which they did. And they wound up decreasing the rate from the original renewal rate was $50 effective January 1st, and they reduced it. First, they reduced it to 40, but with the best and final, they reduced it to 30, and they also included a rate cap of $50, good through 2027. Now, there are just a couple of changes occurring. One of them is the discontinuance of the personal emergency response system, which is the Lifeline, and that is not something unique to the retirement system. It is benefit wide. It's across all their accounts. So they decided to remove that starting January 1st of 2026. I did find out that currently 6% of the members, or 109 of the members, are using this system. And for anyone who's currently using this system, they will be able to continue at a self-pay rate. And I do have some information on that on the next slide. And then the CMS out-of-pocket max, which last year was reduced from 8,000 down to 2,000, that will be increasing up to 2,100 in 2026. So at this point in time, we don't anticipate any other changes. So the emergency response system, basically, this is like a wearable device that somebody can notify an emergency situation, and it's available 24/7. But members will be notified via letters. They'll have a campaign starting in October and go through December. Again, they may be switched to private pay, and those discounted rates would be anywhere from 10 to 40% off the retail cost, depending on what they currently have. United Healthcare has established a hotline just for specifically for the Lifeline Care program, so that people can call, and if they have any questions, they can be guided by the concierge response there. Anyone who's currently using it and does not want to continue will need to return their devices by January 1st. And then there's a little chart here showing the self-pay fees, and it really depends on the current system that they currently have in place. But they range anywhere between $25 to $45 a month, or there's a one-time all-inclusive fee for new members. Other
Still can't hear her. I'll text her. Hold on.
Yeah, tell him.
Okay, I think Diane is frozen. That confused me.
Oh,
Okay,
there you
so
go.
yeah, so this is a comparison of the current plan. There's a high plan and a low plan, and we took the membership and modeled out the rates based on the original increase of $50, and then the next set of columns with the yellow that say best and final at the top show that by United Healthcare going from 50 down to 30, there's actually a savings of $402,000. And then I also noted at the bottom not to exceed $50 for 2027. Does anybody have any questions on the United Healthcare? Okay, so for the vision marketing, the current carrier is iMed, and as Diane mentioned before, their rate guarantee, which was 4 years, expires December 31st of this year. So we did the same thing. We got all the utilization data and the enrollments and the benefit summaries, developed an RFP, sent it to, I believe, to 8 different carriers. Some of the carriers were also in the RFP for the Medicare Advantage plan. We did that to take advantage of any product bundling discounts. However, there were several declines to quote. Humana and United Healthcare and VBA were not competitive from a rate perspective. Anthem actually offers iMed as their product for vision services. So because they're an active partner, they declined to quote. VSP, because it's a retiree block, they required the use of a third-party administrator with a minimum fee of $1 per, well, it says per employee, but it should be per member per month, and a minimum participation of 5,000 enrollees. So their requirements wouldn't allow them to quote for a retiree population. And then Cigna declined to quote. They have quoted for several years in the past, and they didn't like the idea that this was a bid check. And so there was no movement on any past proposals when they were invited to be finalists. So they just declined to quote. It does, in their defense, it does take a lot of work to develop proposals and underwriting and all of that, for more so for the Medicare Advantage plans. But we did receive proposals from iMed, who is the incumbent, and another one called NVA, their National Vision Administrators. We selected both of those as finalists to present to Susan and Monica their best and final offers. So next I'm going to review the highlights from iMed. Just to give you a little bit of background, iMed, there's been some positive feedback. However, in terms of network, there's been a little bit of confusion because they offer in-network providers, but then they also have a network within the network, which is called Plus Providers. So if someone goes to a Plus provider, they have a zero copay for their vision exam, and then an additional $50 allowance for their like frames and lenses. So for materials, they're allowed an additional $50. And one of the common, we did look at who the providers were and shared that with NVA. And there's been some confusion, I think, at the Clarkson iMed group. Several members were there receiving services, and Monica had received phone calls from these people saying that they were there and they were being told that iMed does not accept them. So we did review that with iMed. They had their provider relations team get involved, and they confirmed that the 3 Clarkson locations in that area do accept iMed, and they're not a Plus provider, but they do accept iMed. And then I myself called those 3 offices and confirmed that they did accept iMed. So we do have a little bit of education, I guess, to work on and make sure that people understand the difference between Plus providers and networked providers. And so one of the things that we're going to do is any printed ID cards will include a customized list of in-network and Plus providers based on that member's zip code. And then they also have provided some video links. I know sometimes the retiree population is not a big fan of going online and doing research, but the video links is just like downloading something that you can watch. And there's information called Know Before You Go. There's also instructions on a member website, and then some mobile app videos for those who have it, or for maybe they have like an adult child who helps them go through all of this online resources. So they do have that. And then the marketing team, the iMed marketing team, will customize member-facing communications, showing the difference between the Plus providers and the in-network providers. We've also arranged for iMed will be participating in 2 open enrollment meetings. I believe they're November 4th and November 6th, but also they've been invited to and have accepted the invitation to the retiree luncheon on November 10th. So they will be on site at that time to do a presentation to whoever is there for the luncheon meeting that day. And from what I understand, the past attendance has really increased. So hopefully they'll be able to get, a good attendance at that meeting. One of the new things that iMed has is called Nuance Audio Glasses. And these are actually glasses that sync up. And if a member is out someplace with a lot of background noise, you can adjust the audio and turn down the background noise so that you can better hear the people in your close vicinity. So that was pretty cool. And that's something that is exclusive to iMed. They also offer Ray-Ban Meta glasses. And this is not something that's specific to iMed, but they do pay for them as long as they are purchased at a network provider. So these are like high-tech glasses that will actually give you a transcription of what you're hearing. So it will give you like a visual transcription so that you can see and read. And then also, it comes with, for people who are bikers who want GPS or whatever, it will give you directions that you can see in your glasses so that you don't have to like look down at a phone and a GPS if you're a biker. So those are covered. They also have a hearing aid discount through a company called Amplifon. And last year, Amplifon dispensed 525 hearing aids to members at a discount. And that is not specific to the retiree population, but in general. So that information was obtained from Amplifon. One of the other nice things that iMed can do is that they have pop-up vision clinics that can be provided on site as long as specific conditions are met. One of those conditions is 3 consecutive days. And so we were trying to work with them to have them available at the retiree luncheon on November 10th. But because that's a one-day event, it didn't meet the requirements. But they could have an on-site clinic at a future date and time scheduled over the course of 3 days where retiree members can come in and have a vision exam, and it would be processed as in-network. And then also we have discussed with them reinstituting monthly virtual account management meetings. So the iMed account managers would meet with Monica and Susan and myself and Diane in response to any access concerns there are. If there are any confusion about Clarkson or anybody else or any other questions, we can address those right away with iMed directly. So does anybody have any questions on the incumbent finalist highlights? Okay, so the other finalist was NVA. And NVA is a provider that we're not familiar with out here. We're in Massachusetts, but we are, since we're a national brokerage, we went to our local brokerage and received information from them. So we did share the RFP with them, and they did put out a pretty interesting proposal. What we did was a disruption analysis, and that showed is that 99 of the current networked providers through iMed would be out of network with NVA. However, only one of the top 20 providers was not in network. So if there were consideration to change providers from iMed to NVA, there would be a little bit of provider disruption there. They do have Walmart, Sam's Club, and Costco are all in network. So a lot of these vision carriers have two types of networks. They have your professional network, which are your opticians, your ophthalmologists, right? Your private practice doctors. And then they have retail, which is like Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, VisionWorks, so on and so forth. So we did ask them about those audio enhanced closed caption eyewear glasses, and this was the first time they said that anyone asked them about that, but they did say that the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses were sold at Lens Crafters and Target Optical, and both of those were in network, so they would cover those if they were purchased in network. They also offer hearing aid benefit through Nations Hearing Aid. A lot of the vision carriers have this. Another one, I think VSP uses True Hearing, so they all have discounts on hearing aids. And they did provide their pricing was based on the technology as opposed to like a flat fee discount. They themselves did not offer the pop-up mobile vision clinics as iMed does, but they did say that the University of Missouri in St. Louis does have something like that, a mobile eye unit, and they do accept NVA as in-network providers. So that could be arranged, but the logistics might take a little bit more time planning. And then we also did a cost comparison between NVA and iMed. The progressive lenses seem to be one of the most popular. So their lenses are cost based on a tier of coverage. And so what we did was we obtained the different tiers of coverage for the different types of lenses that are required. And it gets very technical actually, but where the iMed's progressive lenses is not a flat fee. So that's all I have on NVA. Does anybody have any questions on NVA highlights? I don't know if anybody has been familiar with or used NVA in the past, but so here's the final page on the plan marketing. What we are showing is that iMed's current plan, their rates, current rates are $237, $471 for retiree plus one, and then for retiree family are $708. They initially were going to increase these rates because for the last 3 years they provided claims utilization to us, and all 3 years shows over 100% loss ratio. Nothing crazy high, but what that means is that they're paying out more money in claims that when they're collecting in premium. On the other hand, that does mean that the plans are being utilized, which is good. Members are using the plan for the vision services. So the best and final offer that iMed came out with is $258, $513, and $771, which coincidentally is the same proposed rate that NVA came out with. So they landed up with the same rates. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so next is the MetLife prepaid legal, and Diane had done a lot of work on that and the identity theft, so she'll speak about those products. Diane, can you hear us?
Yes, I had to unmute myself. I was nervous about muting it. I was afraid I could talk again. But okay, so for the MetLife prepaid legal, again, this was a brand new program. It was just implemented in 2023. So, we talked it over with Monica and Susan, and instead of putting it out to bid, we instead engaged in some negotiations with the carrier and to see what we could get. And first, the rates are going to expire the end of this year. So we wanted to see what else we could get. And they came back and they offered a 2-year extension at the same plan and rates. Now, obviously, as you get new plans, sometimes there's a little bit of evolving going on because there are new plans and new things are introduced, and things change. But really, with prepaid legal, everything that's offered it's just everything. And there really is no plan changes or enhancements that are coming for 2026. But the group will enjoy the same plans, same rates for another 2 years. So that's $17.25 per month per participating employee. Any questions on the prepaid legal? Well, like I said, we did go back and we did get some information on the utilization because it's good to see, how many are enrolled, how's it being utilized, what's going on. So again, for storytelling, we left 2023 because that was the year of inception. So originally there was 103 people. Last year it jumped to 189, and this year is up to 240. Okay, so really getting a lot of traction here. Utilization. Just to be clear, this is for calendar year 23, calendar year 24, and just the first 6 months of 25. So at least this information is going to double, if not go higher. And it does appear that in the first 6 months, probably not as heavily utilized, but that's not to say that all your utilization isn't going to come towards the end of the year. So we're in 2023, there was actually 93 claims put in. 2024 dropped to 91 claims, and right now 24 claims, but that can spike. We've only been through the first 6 months, and that will definitely change. And the cost. So what they do is they do a market check and they say, okay, these are the types of legal documents that we worked on people, and this is what it would cost through our company, through coming through the program. And then it shows a net savings. So if these same people were to get services outside of the program, they would cost that much more. So we want to show you the cost, we want to show you the savings. So there is a lot of savings. And by the way, the members aren't paying anything. They're getting these services, they're paying a premium, and then all the service costs come out of the payment of the premium. So that's what's going on there. A consultation just means that somebody called inquired, but they didn't actually go through the program. So they might have called, they had a question on family law or something, but that didn't actually engage them to do the whole program, to do their whatever they wanted done, the service. So again, that's going to fluctuate, but they do like to keep track of that because at least that's people that are asking questions, looking to engage. And for personal reasons, we didn't put numbers next to the utilization of the different types of services, but generally just want to give you some sense of what these members are engaging in, what they're using, whether it's family law, home, real estate, traffic violations, fight a traffic violation, elder care issues, wills, estates, and stuff like that. We didn't see any utilization, but there are also, services for money matters, the civil lawsuits and stuff like that. So just to give you a little sense of how it's being used, a number of people. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So next is the Allstate Identity Theft Protection. Again, was running out at the end of this year. So we contacted them, see what we could get. And actually, I mean, they were great. Another 4-year extension. So these rates would be carried through to December 31st, 2029. Hard to believe and hard to say that, but 2029. And it has a lot of new features. It's just incredible that the pace that the services are growing under this program. Some of these new, things, the scam protection, whether it's text blocking, web protection, family protection is really wonderful. So if somebody signs up and they have a family plan, you can now do a credit check on a child to make sure that their social security number, names, and date of birth and all that is not being used. Really, really wonderful feature. Identity restoration support, data removal. Data removal, that just means you plug in some information, and what this protection program does is it go through and it will actually remove your information from certain sites. Just a great benefit. And upgraded identity theft reimbursement. So through this program, there are some protections. If your identity is, captured, if you have fraud, if you start to incur expenses, they'll pay up to a certain dollar depending on what the issue is. But things like they added $100,000 reimbursement of cyberbullying coverage, which we've all heard about, cyberbullying. And then another thing is coverage protection over the cryptocurrency funds, another new thing that's going on. So and this is not, I'm just touching on a few of the highlights. We have marketing material that has all sorts of stuff added to this. Does anybody have any questions? And then again, we did a little bit of a dive into the utilization, just so you can see, the enrollment, what it's being used as. And you can see, if you look at the alerts, it's just incredible. The credit monitoring, the high risk transaction, sex offender, digital footprint. Your information is out on different sites, and it'll tell you where they're seeing your information. They'll literally come back and and say, I see this on Facebook, I see this on whatever. Early warning. They will notify you if somebody submits like a credit application and it's your information, or something happens to your debit account. Somebody tries to make a purchase, so you'll get notification of things like this. Threshold monitoring, you can say, for any cost more than $100, I want to be notified. And even if you go to the store and you buy something for $200, it'll send you a notice and say, did you buy this? So there really is a lot of things that are very useful here, and that you can use with the program. So, any questions? Okay. This chart is blank. We did hear that it's going to be about a 12.9% average increase. So a little bit better than last year. Last year was 14.8. Now they're saying 12.9. But we don't have the rates. There was some questions. They had to go back and figure out some things, and then hopefully we'll get the rate table shortly. So we don't have one here. So it was a placeholder, but we couldn't get it before the meeting. And then lastly, our recommendations for 2026, the Medicare Advantage PPO recommending the renewal with United Healthcare at the 40% decrease with the $50 rate cap. Vision, recommend renewing with IMED. And then this will bring you through to 12/31/29. And what we did is we put a little caveat here, is because there was some network issues, some questions, we're going to keep close tabs on this. As an FYI, a lot of these programs have multi-year agreements. It doesn't mean that you have to stay with them. If Monica and Susan are having a lot of issues with IMED on the network, we could put it out to bid next year or the year after. That just means that the rate guarantee goes away and we go back out to market and we just get new rates and new agreements. So these aren't like solid agreements that you're agreeing to and you get stuck with. And we just want to make sure that you're aware that if there are any concerns, please bring them to our attention. We'll make sure that they get resolved. Okay. Dental, we went out to bid last year, so it's basically just saying we recommend renewal with Delta Dental of Missouri this year. You're going into year 2 of a 3-year rate agreement, which will carry through to December 31st, 27. The Identity Theft Program, recommending the renewal with Allstate. We got that new 4-year extension, so we'll recommend that you renew with a 4-year extension with no rate change through December 31st, 29. The prepaid legal, we're recommending renewal with MetLife. New 2-year extension with no rate change and new enhancements, 12/31/27. And then the last one, again, we don't have the actual rate table. It still needs to be approved by the St. Louis Public School Board of Education, but we will get that to you once we can get it. Does anybody have any questions? Concerns? Has anything come up in the year that you want to talk about that you need addressed, or? And this is the open enrollment that's been set up for this year. There'll be 2 sessions, one on Tuesday, November 4th at 10 a.m., one on Thursday, November 6th at 2 p.m. And as normal, all of the vendors will be invited to make a presentation during that meeting and answer any questions that anybody might have.
Question, where will the open enrollment be held?
Those are going to be Zoom meetings.
Okay, Zoom meetings. Both of them will be Zoom meetings?
Yeah, they will be Zoom
Okay.
meetings. And then we will have, Monica, what is that the group, the retired school employees that you'll be attending?
RSCSL. That's
Yeah,
that
so
luncheon.
yeah, that's an in-person meeting, usually about 300 or so retirees there. So we'll have Monica and United, and now it sounds like IMED would be there as well in person at that event.
Thank you.
I guess if there are no questions, I don't know if Monica, you had anything to add, or any of the co-chairs had anything to add? We typically would need, to vote on those recommendations. So Dave was kind enough to, in the past, we've kind of done them individually. Dave was kind enough to work through a motion that it's long, but it's one motion. To cover all the recommendations. And if we want to talk about one, we could pull that out of the recommendations. But so I just have up there what the long motion now.
Okay. Would one of the co-chairs of the benefits committee want to?
I'm here. I will do so. This is Shanice. So I would like to make a motion that the board approve the following benefit plan renewals and changes as recommended by Gallagher and as presented in the attached materials. To approve renewing the Delta Dental of Missouri dental plan and continue offering the same high and low option plans with no change in premium or plan design as recommended by the insurance consultant. To approve renewing the MetLife prepaid legal voluntary benefit program with no change in premium or plan design per the negotiated 2-year extension as recommended by the insurance consultant. To approve renewing the Allstate Identity Theft Protection Voluntary Benefit Program with no change in premium or plan design per the negotiated 4-year extension as recommended by the insurance consultant. To approve St. Louis Public Schools United Healthcare PPO plans with Express Scripts prescription contingent on Board of Education approval. To approve renewing the United Healthcare and continue offering the high and low Medicare Advantage plans with no plan design changes at a 40% decrease in 2026 with a rate cap of $50 in 2027. To approve renewing the IMED and continuing offering vision coverage with the same plan design at an 8.9 increase guaranteed for 4 years through December 31st, 2029, as recommended by the insurance consultant. During the negotiated 4-year period, the program will be reviewed carefully to ensure that concerns or problems are successfully resolved. If such concerns or problems are not successfully resolved, the coverage will be marketed before the end of the negotiated period. And that was the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. We're going to do a roll call vote.
Christina Bennett?
Chris, are you there?
Okay. Candace Carter?
Yes.
Lois Cross?
Yes.
Emily Hubbard?
Yes.
Shanice Johnson?
Yes.
Kimberly Johnson Miller?
Yes.
Yvette Levy?
Yes.
Jennifer Orr?
Oh, yeah, hold on, they want this there.
Yes.
Every just get those to us tomorrow, we are expecting.
Richardson?
Yes.
On Tuesday, they get.
Somebody needs to mute.
Albert Sanders?
Yes. Yes.
2 Albert Sanders.
We have 2 Alberts. Doris Walker?
Yes.
And was Christina?
Yes.
Okay, that was Christina.
Okay, that was Christina.
All right. So we do have 11. The motion carries.
Okay.
So thank you to both Joy and Diane walking through all of that and for all the work you did. And certainly Monica for day in, day out, just being a great resource for our retirees and going above and beyond to do what is needed to help. Whatever is asked, she's there. So appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, so I have a couple more things as part of my report. Sorry. So we have another guest presenter, and that is Nancy from Polished. If the trustees would recall, we had have added some assistance with media and public relations, and that is performed by Polished. And Nancy is here to kind of walk through some of the activity that's occurred this year, and then also to debut a new document that was requested by the trustees, along with hiring somebody, a firm, to help us out more with PR. And so she's been working with our communications team, and so we're going to debut that new document. So without further ado, Nancy, turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sue, Chairman Cross, for allowing me to spend just a few minutes engaging you all with kind of, as Sue mentioned, with just an update of the communications and branding and media relations that have been going on over the course of since January, when I began this wonderful effort. So let me pull up. Do you have the, are you allowing me to share, Sue?
Yeah, it says you are
okay.
Sharing.
Pull this up here. Can everybody see this presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's not on. There it is. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, first of all, just to give you a little bit of background, and I'm not going to date myself because Lord knows I'll be a little embarrassed, but I have been in the marketing communication space for a long time. We'll just leave it at that. And prior to starting my own business, Polished, which is 11 years old, I worked in government for St. Louis County local government under Charlie Dooley's leadership as his VP, helping with talking points, marketing, media relations, etc. And then I moved on to healthcare, where I managed branding and marketing communications for Mercy's system-wide foundations, Mercy Hospital system-wide foundations. So what I really wanted just to share is the brand awareness. The retirement system has wonderful fiduciary, has been had a solid reputation and credibility maintaining the pension fund for its members. And so really keeping that stature and that awareness of what you all are about is critical. And sadly, not many people outside the St. Louis Public School District know about the retirement system. And maybe that's okay, right? I mean, maybe there's no reason for them to know it. But internally and externally, working with vendors, the membership, the board of trustees, and just maintaining this optimum, high profile, stellar relationship, and that brand really does bode well when you get that call from the press, or when there is a crisis, or anything that we wish we would have worked on sooner. So making sure that this credibility and the system's reputation is in a nice light is one of my responsibilities. So I worked with Chairman Cross and Sue with media training. I happen to be on TV every month through Great Day St. Louis. So I'm all about live TV and understanding the importance of coming across as a credible, reputable person. I also do a lot of interviews with local radio and sometimes even national print. So I have had quite a few experiences with media and being knowing what is right and what is wrong. So we sat down, we worked on messaging. What are those key messages for the retirement system? And Sue and Chairman Cross and I, we did some mock interviews. We understood kind of the do's and don'ts, if you will, and what is important when you are projecting yourself live on TV, or perhaps it's through radio. And so we worked on that. You never know when a situation will come up, especially in today's climate. And so being prepared and knowing, putting your best foot forward is critical when you are approached by a reporter or whatever media happens to come our way. I haven't trained any of the Board of Trustees other than Chairman Cross, but I am very happy to do so if that is something of interest. Another thing to note is media, they don't have a 9 to 5. They don't punch their clock in at 9 and leave at 5, so to speak. They'll call at any time or day, and they are deadline focused. So I am aware of that. I was a former journalist. I worked for the Dallas Morning News as a reporter. I wrote articles for the Post-Dispatch and the St. Louis Magazine. So I know personally the importance of getting that story, getting the scoop, if you will, and working on deadline. So Sue knows if she needs me, I am ready and raring to go and support the system in any shape, way, or form at any time of the day. The other thing that really we were working on is trying to create a nice, professional, credible profile on LinkedIn. And so we did that. We created one for the organization itself and also established a profile for Sue as the executive director, as the face of the organization outside the board, and helping to project this, again, this great brand awareness. Typically, we'll post 2 or 3 on average 3 posts a week for the systems LinkedIn and then 2 for Sue's. I know early on somebody mentioned that they're at a conference. I would love, love, love to post pictures and share whatever conference that is and highlight again just this continuing education and effort that you all do to provide the best customer service and education to its members. So maybe Sue, afterwards, you could provide my email. And again, if there is something else a Board of Trustee would like to share via LinkedIn, I'm all about posting content that's relevant, timely. People love pictures. We are still growing, sadly, in this space. I'm trying to get more traction. I work very hard to do that, but LinkedIn, just like lots of other social media platforms, it's all about algorithm or pay to play. Of course, we're not doing that, so we're still growing. To date, we have, and I think I have this on here. I show 116, but we're up to 135. I'm sorry, 132. So we have 3 more members since this presentation was prepared. Again, I don't want you to all to be discouraged by this number. We started with 0, and so we are working to build this. So if you're on LinkedIn or if you want to promote it through your circle of contacts through the school system, I would welcome that. Sue's got a different story. She is really growing and doing great. She had 0 in January in terms of connections, and to date she's up to 1,176 followers and connections. So again, I mentioned to Sue, I would love to develop a Facebook page for the system. Maybe there are more people who are in that space as opposed to LinkedIn, but just putting out great messaging. I was informed about open enrollment, so I posted something on that the other day. So just, again, if there's something, a conference, something that's relevant to the school teachers or its class, the children, it just shows, again, this willingness to be transparent and to be engaging with different audiences. So feel free to send me content. I welcome that, and I would greatly appreciate that as well. Let's see here. Let me just get my slideshow in. Okay. And just to give you a little bit of a snapshot, Sue mentioned this one pager that we created for the board to have when you're attending conferences, and we're going to really leverage that in other ways too. Post it to the website, use it on social media, have a link on the newsletter to showcase this one pager. Again, having nothing in the past, but having something that's really, it shows what the system is about and what it does in terms of being the great fiduciary manager of the fund. and the board of trustees are all listed, and we'll showcase that flyer in just one second. And it's what's really nice about it. It's branded and it's in the system's colors, and it's in a PDF, so we can make changes, and it will have a longer shelf life. And we can use it online too, which is great. If somebody wants to print it out, or you can send it via email to colleagues, to vendors, to whomever. It is just another way to show that the reputation and the organization is really, working hard to satisfy, provide customer service and satisfy the needs of its members. I write a lot of scripts. I don't know, I don't know, probably Chairman Lewis Cross throws it and rips it up and says, "This is garbage. I'm writing my own," but I do take time and draft some
fantastic, man.
Well, I draft some scripts. I draft letters. I am a writer. I love to write. And so there's lots of, I told her, whatever you need, I'm at your disposal. So, and whatever the board needs for that matter as well. And so really that's a snapshot of the marketing and communications. And at the end of the year, because Polished is a quasi leadership development and communications firm or practice, I provide professional development. I've been doing this for the past 4 years with the system. I have gotten to know the team. I respect them. I really enjoy. I'm impressed by them. The tenure, the hard work that they do, the trust, the teamwork environment that it is. And so every year I work with Sue and we develop a topic. And so everything from emotional intelligence to leadership. What is leadership? How do we hone that in? Understanding assertive communications, why we want to present in an assertive way as opposed to aggressive or passive aggressive, or just being passive for that matter. Last year we did a nice teamwork event, and so again, it's an opportunity for the small but mighty team to get together, enjoy each other's fellowship, and learn some things that are important in the workplace. So that is it in a snapshot. I am happy to answer any questions. I think I do have my email here at the end, yes. And my phone number. Feel free to call or text me, email me. I will respond as soon as I receive your email. And again, want to be of service not only to the system, but to you all, since you are the leaders, if you will, of the organization. So if there's anything that you need as a board, I'm happy to provide that. So thank you. Any questions?
Nancy, I think I just may have a couple.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Is it intentional that we are or using LinkedIn? Is that the primary social media platform? And is it intentional that we're using it? Because I'm thinking about audience. And so with different social media platforms, you typically get different audiences, whether it's age, or just where folks like to go to gain content. So I'm wondering, initially I thought, well, why aren't we using other platforms? And then I thought, well, we may be intentionally using LinkedIn because of our membership, and I was thinking about, we've got 6,300, I think, active members, something like that. So I'm just thinking about that number, thinking about our growing number in LinkedIn, which is great. And then, but then who's not a LinkedIn fan? Who doesn't have a page? Who are we not getting, our story to?
Yes, that's a super question. And that has been one, not knowing really what social media space, the school employees are active in. And so we tested the waters, and I agree. I thought, that there are plenty of professionals who are, who work for the school system and retirees who are on LinkedIn, but for whatever reason, they're not engaging as we would like. But I do believe that there are other opportunities, to your point, Candace.
Okay.
So if you feel it's Facebook and Instagram, we talked about, I know YouTube, we do a lot of these meetings that are virtual and we link, various matters on the YouTube channel. We can push forward that. But it was my thought, and Sue and I have had some conversations about Facebook, thinking maybe with the retirees, again, no disrespect, because I do use Facebook, just to kind of catch up with my age group, if you will. But Instagram is another site, but I welcome your suggestions or interest of where you would like to see some of these communications going.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's really more of a question, and it's probably something we as a board could discuss, in terms of next steps if we thought what strategy. But that was the thing I'm thinking about. What story do we want to make sure you see we're credible, the reputation, we're good stewards. You know what I mean? I wrote down we're stable. What story do we want to tell, and that could support being the system as well as SLPS, as well as, where, the fiduciary thing, what messaging do we want to put out there?
Of course, yes. Whoops, did somebody say something? I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm all for these organic videos, and that's a great place for Facebook. I mean, even let's say you want to just to, as a board, have a short little, just attend the board meeting. I'm very impressed by, how organized we are and how efficient we are with our agenda. Great to be on the board. Something simple, but yet has this empowering, happy message. That's great for Facebook. People like that. I have to be honest with you. I don't know if LinkedIn is the right place. I do believe that, I don't know. We're just not getting the traction. But to me, maybe the place is Instagram and Facebook, where it can be more conversational, still not dissuading, going away from the branding at all. But the messaging is just it reaches more people.
I think Shanice had a question or a comment.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, I understand the use of social channels, not necessarily a fan of it for this particular endeavor, but will communications be added to our newsletter that's being sent out to say follow LinkedIn and or any print materials that you can, I guess, take from social to make it printable for our newsletter? Will that occur?
That is great. Yes. We do have a message on our newsletter every quarter when it comes out saying, we're on LinkedIn, please follow us. We talked about maybe sending, I don't know how to get through to the school district channels or the charter school channels to really promote, if there's a teacher, school staff, administrative, whomever, who are on LinkedIn to have that sense of awareness, whether or not they want to be a follower or part of the, a follower on LinkedIn. But yes, we are doing our best to promote it. And the reason why I suggested to go forward with the LinkedIn is to start with this because the organization is so credible. You're managing, close to $1 billion. These are people's livelihoods, the pension. So I wanted to have this platform on the professional level, like LinkedIn is, and share that, be that credible voice. This is what we're doing, totally transparent. And then, take it down a notch a little bit on more of the social pages like the Facebooks and Instagrams and say, we have such a great pool of teachers at the St. Louis School District, and we're happy to help support them in their retirement. Just make it a little bit more fluid and engaging, whereas LinkedIn is still engaging, but it's at a higher level of professionalism. That's why I was mentioning like these organic videos, like even Sue could do one, just had a fantastic board meeting. Love our board of trustees. They're so engaged, simple like that. And again, the right venue, the right vehicle will gather, I think, a lot more traction and traffic. So food for thought.
Thank you for your response. I just, again, think that a person who's on social media, I don't know that that's what I would be looking for. And that's just my opinion as a person who's a consumer of it. But also, I think making sure that we do those things that you're highlighting in the newsletter, specifically from that PR standpoint, would be awesome. But if I may add a one pager or something to provide to the school district so that they can choose to add it to their newsletter that we receive as employees, and or new hires maybe can receive it. I don't know, but that's just, I don't know what connection you would have to that person, but that would be my suggestion. I'm not saying by any means stop the LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, didn't know we were posting things, so I'm gonna go look for it. But
Thank
just
you.
saying, as a vehicle, I think the print will be more, because people tend to read more about business than use social media for their personal finances.
Sure.
That's
No,
my opinion.
no, I think you're spot on. I don't deny that. I'm just trying to get some more traction to
Gotcha.
create that more brand awareness. But no,
Absolutely.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. And we could easily do that. And I'm making a note to ensure that I connect with Sue, and I will write a paragraph and sort of summarize, over the past quarter of what's been going on in the social front. And then hopefully that will generate some more interest. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we do have one pager that summarizes, that is available for new employees. So what happens when we get the enrollment form for new people is we have a new hire packet that we'll send to them. But one of those things, and I can send this to the trustees as well, is a one pager that really just summarizes who we are, what the benefits are, really gives them an idea of what their benefits would be in the future, contributions, all of that. So we do manage sending that out to new members.
Thanks, Sue, for that answer. And just add that feel good stuff that she said to that one pager about that their money is in good hands and all that, then that takes care of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Oliver, would you like to maybe meet with Sue and Nancy if you had some other suggestions, and we certainly broaden the whole support system, whatever.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to do that. I think at the end of the day, what I'm hearing, Nancy, is we're talking about engagement, right? And information sharing, wanting to maintain and get across our credibility, reputation, good stewardship, all of that, wanting to be sure that it still remains professional. And really, we want people, all the active members, to read it, right? And to know what's going on. And then as new folks enter, right, that they know what's going on. So I think, so I'm more than willing to sit down and just brainstorm and go through any ideas on that, just so that it carries out, what we wanted to carry out as a board. And then I was just also thinking about where we're headed. If we know that there are going to be some decisions down the road, COLAs and just all things that could be coming up, is there a way to get some of that, what we want to say, out in advance, meaning the reputation, the credibility, et cetera. So when we have to get to these big decisions, folks will feel good about it, or as good as they can.
Well, what's really interesting that I've been seeing, and I can share a report with you too, because LinkedIn provides various metrics, and there are the bulk of followers out of the 100 and what did I say? 135 followers on the system's LinkedIn. And there is a page, there is a way I can go in and hopefully incite through Sue's page that for them to connect. I'll say St. Louis School District, and then they'll pull up all these members who are using LinkedIn, and then I will invite them to connect on Sue's, but I haven't yet done that for Sue to invite them to join the systems LinkedIn. I'm just trying to build Sue's LinkedIn right now, but I want to do that. That's on my to-do list. But you would be surprised how many people follow, and you'll be able to see that as a member. You can see all the connections. Like there's other retirement systems in the state of Indiana or Ohio, or, you know, they're wanting to see what you're doing. And so it's getting out there. It's just starting small.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
I had a couple things. The one thing is I agree. I do read social media more than I do print material, even the one we get quarterly. If it was on social media, I'd probably read it more. I mean, I read both of them, but I think as the younger and younger our members get, the active members get, I think they're probably more on Facebook than they are on LinkedIn. They're more likely to check Facebook. Not even Facebook, for instance. I mean, they don't all do that, but I think younger members will read that more if it's just a blurb. Like, this is what you do when you retire. You can retire at 80, or we had 96 people retired this month, full retiring, who were getting their benefits. And so I like, I mean, the social media, just how do you get it up? But one thing and I don't know if this is a LinkedIn or like we all should be on LinkedIn. I know I just checked. I said, oh, I am following us.
Yay, yay, thank you.
Didn't even know. But I
Yeah.
am following us. I knew I was following Sue, but I said I am following us. But like a Facebook page or even a LinkedIn page, just an introduction to the members of the trustee board. I mean, just an introduction.
Well, I have done that before, and I try to bring fresh content. So yes, I promote the trustees, not promote, but I want to, you know, share the commitment that you all are doing for the not only the fund, but for the school systems. You know, there's so much that we could do. It's just like anything, it's getting that awareness, because if people don't know, then they're not going to just randomly go. But I do think that Facebook will be a very good, and you know, Meta owns Instagram now, so we could easily make an Instagram page. So I think it's worth trying, but we could meet first if you'd like, Candace, and just kind of talk through that process and prioritize, you know, where we want to put our efforts.
Okay. I would Dr. Sanders, Shanice, Dr. Oliver, you all seem to be interested in that. So do you all want to meet with Sue and Nancy and anyone else? Well, we can only have 3 unless we're doing a committee.
Yes.
We can only have 3, but we could, you 3 could meet with Sue and Nancy and get the ball rolling.
Okay, I just have something to say. I have 2 LinkedIn pages. Only thing I need for you all to do is send out an invite to me, and I will accept it on both my pages.
Okay.
Okay, I'll touch base with you, Doris, and find out where you are and get that over to Nancy then.
Okay, but it's not up under Doris Walker. It's up under Doris Walker McGahee.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you. And again, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. I get it. And this is a very unique organization. I mean, there's not a lot of people who are organizations that are managing pension funds like for school districts. So, I mean, just for the St. Louis, you guys are the ones. So it's not like we can reach out to. So really, membership is key, is targeting the members, getting the board involved, and you know, even just getting the engagement, like when I posted about a board meeting, and I sent a reminder out today, it would be nice to have a board member say, yeah, looking forward to the board meeting. Or again, just kind of that sense of, because LinkedIn is all about algorithms, just like the Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I mean, it's the traction. And so if we don't get the traction, we're not going to get the awareness unless we pay, which I don't think that's an area we should be doing right now.
Yeah, and I agree, and I also think our active members and even some of our retirees don't know everything about where they're putting their money, and like you said, trying to get them to come to the meetings and stuff, and they don't know who's messing with their money, but they don't know where to put it. They don't know a lot about the system unless they ask, and all of them don't ask. They just know they get the pension little box on their check,
Right,
you know, that's about all they know.
Right.
And we all don't always know the answers. But if they're able to if we put a little blurb, okay, this is what this went to, or this is our new investment or whatever, or if you need help, if you need anything, you can reach out to Sue or our chairman. They know a lot more information. And so it's a lot of stuff I know that can go on. The only other
I
thing I was
love
going to say,
that.
yeah, go ahead.
And I am doing that, by the way, on LinkedIn. But you know,
Are we discussing active teachers and related personnel? Are we speaking about retirees? Because when the retirees get the newsletter, all that's in there.
I'm
That's Dr. Sandy.
just from my like my wife, who we both get the retiree newsletter. I can go find one right now that from last April that's not open. You know, but if we had put maybe put that on a Facebook post or anything like that, it might have been read. That little piece might have been read if it was you know, if it was in on a social media. But I mean, that's just my thought. But the other
no,
thing,
I
go
oh
ahead.
no, you just got my wheels turning, like, because now I get to meet the board. I've never met you all before. It would be nice to do a little snippet, like, oh, meet, you know, Dr. You know, like it would just be nice. Again, we want to be approachable, we want to be engaging, we want to portray ourselves as this you know, astute financial gatekeeper. And by having, you know, your service, your commitment to do that and just share, you know, maybe because I have shared the staff for the system, but not the board, just the board as a whole. But it'd be kind of nice to, you know, do individual profiles, and again, not like your whole resume, but just a short little, you know, I'm a retired school teacher. I've done this for, you know, 30 years, and my favorite food is, you know, Cheetos. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here.
And the other thing, and not to get off the social media, but like when we're going to conferences and stuff, when we're going to conferences and stuff, we're educating ourselves. Like if we, and maybe it's just for me, but if we had like a one pager, like where we stand, how we, you know, where we stand financially, um,
Ding, ding,
you
ding,
know,
ding, 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 ding.
you
I'm going to
know,
show
and
it to you. We
just to
have that.
share. But and if we, I mean, if we had like if we go to Utah, if we just have that, so if somebody says, asks us a question, we are able to answer that question without without being like, I don't know, let me talk to Chris, he'll tell me.
Okay, so this is a perfect entree into the one pager. That was great, Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so to your point, here we go. It's a front and back. And again, we have a little snapshot of about us, what we're involved in. We've got the logo of the St. Louis Public Schools and the charter schools. Being the fiduciary stewards, we've listed, and this, of course, is ever fluid. We'll be updating the numbers as the pension fund grows. But we have a breakdown of the assets, which I think is nice. And then we've got the mission statement. We share, you know, very transparent here, how many active members we have, retired, et cetera, et cetera. A little pat on our back, or the system's back, you know, receiving this certificate of achievement, you know, year and year and year, each 13 consecutive years speaks volumes about the organization's fiduciary responsibilities and efforts to be above board in everything they do. And so we share that. Sue, if you could just kind of scroll down, and then the back, we've got our board members who are great, you know, who are dedicating their service to the organization. And then we list the team members of the organization. And then I just drafted 2 quotes, one for Chairman Cross, and then for the executive director. So again, it's an easy kind of flyer or one pager to share at conferences. I don't know, Sue, when we sat down, this was way back in, I don't know, January or February, we had a list of key messages. I'm happy to kind of refine that, and we could hand that out to just the trustees, just as a refresher, or just help them, you know, jog their memory if they were asked questions. And these are just kind of you know, things that are top of mind, that maybe you're at a networking event or, you know, at a breakfast or wherever you are, where, you know, people you're sitting next to will ask a question, and then you'll be able to share the information because you're so prepared and organized.
And so this was included in the packet, so if as you review it, there's anything you want to add or change, please, you know, feel free to let us know. This is just our first.
Can the SOPS logo be bigger?
Oh, come on. Yes, we could make it a little bigger. We don't want to make it, you know, everything by graphic standards. Usually it's 0.5 the size when you're putting it on like the corner, or if it's used for visual, but certainly we can make it a little bigger. Definitely.
Okay.
Well, I thought this looks good just for, I think this is a good start, you know, and it has areas where you can just kind of put in information too. You know, it's a good template. As, you know, things change, you can just drop the information in. And, but I think it's a good, is a one pager is, I'm assuming front and back or something like that, that just kind of puts things in one place, you know, who, what, and when, you know, and that's a good thing. So.
And
the
before
only other thing I would add would be that legislative victory, because that was huge. I mean, and it could be because that could stay on like for a couple, you know,
Dr. Sanders,
newsletters.
that's
Yes,
in my
ma'am?
report. Shh.
But and the
No.
other thing, I think any social media, anything that we do, I think it'll reach all of our members. And I'm speaking for charter school members, active members, but I can't speak for them because I don't know them. But I don't know how much they know what we do as well, because their money goes into our system as well. So I think it's important. You know, I'm not gonna say what I really feel about charter schools. Dr. Kane is not Carla, but no, they're still we are their members. I mean, they're our members, and we're handling their money. So I think like that social media presence will entice them to come over. I mean, not come over, but entice them to learn more about it. And maybe we'll get more members actually on this, you know, during our meetings, because we want to answer the hard questions. We just don't want to be here just making decisions. We want to answer those questions that members have that they'll possibly place on Facebook, place on LinkedIn. But I think we can reach more members if we actually did if we did more social media push, and they know that they're part of the they're part of it. And I don't know if
their
everybody knows
voice,
that.
they have a voice. No, I hear you. Now, I will say I did a little, you know, research, just curious, like who's using Facebook in terms of other organizations managing pensions funds. So, and help me out here because I'm probably going to get this wrong, but it's the Missouri Retirement. Sue, do you know what I'm talking about? It's the Missouri
State.
Pardon me?
The state.
Yes, yeah. And they I love their website, by the way. I think yours is better, but they do a Facebook. And so I went to their pages, and you know, they're again, it's more conversational, it's more engaging, it's friendlier, like it should be on those specific platforms. But and then I just curious with out of state sites, and it seems like Facebook is the key. They have a LinkedIn, but Facebook seems to be the main channel or the outlet for people to communicate or engage with. So maybe they just feel more comfortable, not you know, with that Facebook versus other social media platforms. So I don't know.
And the only thing I would say, knowing St. Louis Public School employees, I love you all, but make sure we filter post.
Oh
Because
gosh,
we don't want it to become a negative platform to complain that they're not gonna have money or something. We want it to be a positive thing that just engage members about what's going on, not every little. I ain't got a cola in 7 years and they posted 7 times. You know.
No.
But you don't hear those. But we have to filter them because we don't want it to become that.
Yeah, no, and trust me, that happens. But yes, and I mean, we can discuss like if there's a board member or whomever wants to be a part of that back end and administrative support to, you know, to reply to a controversial comment. But if there's something that's very obscene or inappropriate, then, we'll have that ability too to just remove it altogether.
Okay, well, Dr. Sanders, Dr. Oliver, and Denise, you all, and Nancy and Sue,
We'll get
get it
together.
together, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. So I am too. Because honestly, what you all do, I mean, it's like I share with my husband, he's a retired banker, and he's just in awe. He's like, wow, how much is in their fund? And obviously you've got good, consultants, financial experts who are managing, who are doing the right balance of investments. But at the same time, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, this is big. You guys have a lot of responsibility. And then, and you all are very under the radar. I mean, it'd just be nice to kind of create this leadership platform, if you will, of what you're doing as service. I mean, not bragging, not trying to get extra points or anything like that, but just, this is a service boardship, and you could be home with your family, right? But you're doing this. So just showcasing the relevance and, the good work that the organization is doing. And still having a little fun on some of the social media platforms when it's 4th of July, wishing everybody a nice holiday. And, it's mixed, but it's also informative. This is what we're about, sharing that information.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you,
Yes.
Nancy, so much.
Thank you.
You are also welcome.
All right. And I had one more item in my report, and that is regarding our insurance renewals, our business insurance. We did start talking about this last month, and we had to kind of table it because we didn't have all of the quotes in. So this was included in the packet. There's been one little change, but just want to give everybody kind of a review. So this is the time of year that we look at our business insurance, which includes our property or workers' comp, and then the crime and fiduciary. We do cyber liability in February. So maybe we'll sync that up at some point, but right now that's the only one that's kind of on its own. So last month we were able to approve the property that was in, again, these are July renewals. And so that one renewed. And then workers' comp, we didn't have the final number, but the board approved continuing on with Hartford. So the premium went up very minimally. The annual premium, $1,232 last year, and then renewal going forward would be $1,240. I will do an audit at the end of this month that gives them the actual numbers of salary, and the number originally was a projection, so it could change just a little bit, but it shouldn't go up much. So the two that were left outstanding were the crime and the fiduciary insurance. So crime is going to handle, anything, whether it's employee theft or any kind of, theft outside the organization. So that is a policy that we've had in place for some time. We've had it with Travelers, and then we also have with Travelers fiduciary, and then we have a second company that gives us the excess fiduciary, so that we have a total of $10 million liability with our fiduciary, $2 million on the crime. So what Gallagher, who is our business insurance consultant, was able to find is they were able to get renewals on the crime from Travelers, which is our current vendor, with a bit of an increase. The new premium would be $2,429 annually versus $2,046 is the current. And essentially the coverage would remain the same. If you look down the very next to last line, the Great American Insurance Company, they also gave us a quote. Their premium would be a little bit more, $3,998, but that would include a few higher limits than Travelers. We can maintain the current coverage with Travelers, and that would be that 2,429. We wanted to increase the limits just a little bit. We could increase the premium, so that would be closer to 4,000. Gallagher recommended both. If we wanted to stay with what we have actually not had a claim on crime. So obviously that's coverage has been adequate, but if we wanted to beef up the coverage just a little bit, that's what that $3,998 is. On the fiduciary side, Travelers, who is our current carrier, they did not quote. We've discussed this last couple of years, maybe not so much last year, but a couple of years ago, there's been a lot of claims on fiduciary coverage, particularly with deferred compensation plans, things like that. So the fiduciary market's been kind of hot, and so Travelers elected not to quote this year. I've had a long-standing relationship with them, but Gallagher did get another vendor. I think this was the only other quote on fiduciary for the full $10 million, and the premium would actually be a little bit less. The retention or the deductible amount would be higher, but we did get a renewal or a bid or quote rather from this Hudson Insurance. They're AAA rated. Gallagher would not place us with anybody that is not a reputable insurance provider. They do a lot of business with Hudson, so they would not, recommend them if they did not feel comfortable with them as a vendor. So that is really our option on the fiduciary. With the crime, we have, stick with Travelers, it'll go up a bit, or if we wanted to beef up our limits, then we can even pay a little bit more. I think the Great American includes some things that are more for plans that are required to have some ERISA coverage in place, which we are not bound by ERISA. So, that was something that they looked at, but again, we could retain what we have with Travelers. It would just be a bit of an increase. So questions on any of those two coverages, the crime or the fiduciary? Okay. So if not, then we would just need a motion.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
The excess, maybe I wasn't listening enough. The excess crime from, was it Markel? Why was there not a quote not needed? What does that mean?
Yeah, because we got the full 10 million from the Hudson Insurance. Where Markel came in the past is that Travelers last year, they cut it back to 5 million. So we needed somebody to do another 5 million. Okay. So those two work together, but this Hudson will give us the full 10 million. So we don't need more close coverage.
You said that was a little cheaper than what we're paying now, correct?
Yeah, so what we had paid previously with Travelers.
Oh, I see. I can read.
Yeah,
I forgot.
yeah, together, it gives you the 90,301. So we would be 82. But again, our deductible, if we were to have a claim, we would have that $100,000.
Thank you.
Anything else on that? So then I do have a motion. I have it blank for not sure if we wanted to, because they recommended both. So if there are any thoughts on, keeping Travelers the same that we have right now, if we wanted to go, it's the Great American Insurance Company that would just beef our coverages up just a bit. It's not very significant. I've recommended on those.
Gallagher.
Gallagher, yes.
Do we have another, what, do we have a second,
Was there a motion
motion?
on the floor?
Do we have a second motion? Not a second, the motion.
The motion
Do we have the
is-
one to keep it the same?
Yeah, so with this one, the crime, you could just plug in, if you want to keep it the same, you'd say travelers. That, or
Okay.
if you recommend the higher limits, it's the Great American Insurance Company.
Well, what's the pleasure of the board at this time?
What did we have before? Was it travelers?
We couldn't hear you, Kim.
I said, who did we have before? Was it Travelers, or is Travelers our previous provider under Gallagher? I mean,
With the fiduciary or the crime, we have had Travelers, and then fiduciary, we also had Markle, because Travelers only gave us $5 million last year, so we needed an excess, and that's strictly what Markel does, is that additional 5. So fiduciary, we had Travelers and Markel, and then crime, we had Travelers.
okay.
Gallagher has recommended that we
can stick with Travelers, pay a little bit more, but it's the same coverage that we have right now.
And what was the recommendation of Gallagher? That's why I'm confused. I'm sorry.
They recommended both on the crime.
They recommended both, you said?
Yeah, well, if we wanted higher limits, which the higher limits, there's not too many that are tweaked. Basically, with this Great American Insurance Company, they would give us a flat $2 million for a number of categories: forgery, inside or off premises, computer hacking. All of that is $2 million max.
$100,000.
Yeah, well, that's on the fiduciary.
Okay.
Whereas with Travelers, on premises, you only have $100,000 worth of coverages. Some computer stuff, it's $100,000. So there's a few items where Travelers is a little less coverage than what we have with the Great American Insurance Company. But
So we don't use,
it's about double.
and we don't use the crime. We haven't, I mean, knock on wood, but we haven't used crime. We haven't used the crime probably at all.
No. Because a lot of the things such as if a member, passes away and their family doesn't report that they're deceased and they continue to keep their benefits, that's not considered a crime under this policy. So that's our most common thing that we would have. But that is not something that's considered a crime under this policy.
Okay. And I think as we go along, when we get more and more onto online stuff, I think we may need up-to-date or more coverage under the more coverage, like the $2 million, whatever happens. But I think for right now, I'll make a motion.
You gonna add?
Hey Sue, this is Christina. I have to drop. Is that okay?
Well, we'll miss you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll let you know if I'm going to go to NCTR.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Right.
Sorry, bye.
See you, Christina. I make a motion to accept the fiduciary policy coverage from Hudson Insurance Company and the crime coverage from Travelers as recommended by Gallagher, the Systems Business Insurance Consultant.
Second. Richardson, second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Take a roll call vote.
Candace Carter Oliver.
Yes.
Louis Cross.
Yes.
Emily Hubbard.
Yes.
Denise Johnson,
Yes.
Kimberly Johnson Miller,
Yes.
Yvette Levy, Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
So we do have 10, the motion carries.
Yeah.
That concludes my report.
Okay. Okay, I don't think we have a report of the investment consultants and or a report of the actuary. So we'll move on to the reports of the committees of the board, and we'll start off with benefits, Shanice Johnson and Emily Hubbard.
Our report was the presentation provided earlier.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for your presentation, and it was excellent.
Thank you.
Then we'll move on to trustee business. That would be Jennifer Orr and Kimberly Johnson Miller.
Yes, we had a travel expense report that was submitted, and all of the information is here. The year and the expenses with the total travel 25 expenses equaling to $4,183.48. I present to the board this travel report for approval.
Okay. Okay, then is
That a
that
motion?
is there a motion?
Yeah, I can put up the official one.
Okay.
Like.
I make a motion to accept the travel expense report as presented by the committee.
Is there a second?
Richardson, second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Candace Carter Oliver,
Yes.
Lewis Cross,
Yes.
Emily Hubbard,
Yes, and I'm sorry I haven't submitted mine yet.
okay. Shanice Johnson,
Yes.
Kimberly Johnson Miller,
Yes.
Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
All right, so we have 10, the motion carries.
Okay, we're moving on to the investment committee. That would be Christina Bennett and Dr. Albert Sanders report.
We don't have a report, but we do have a motion for to move some of our money that was from our commingle fund as the investment consultants recommended.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is with Manulife. It's had a long relationship with Manulife, but because we moved some money, then they are requesting that we go into a different type of fund because they will have less funds to actively manage. So.
All right. So that's the motion.
That's what the motion
okay,
is. Yeah.
Dr. Sanders, you just read that motion. Is there a second?
I didn't read the whole motion. I was just a summary of what we're doing.
Okay.
But I make a motion to recommend a change in Manulife investment and move the commingle fund as recommended by an investment consultant and the investment committee.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and probably seconded. We take a roll call vote.
Candace Carter Oliver,
Yes.
Lewis Cross,
Yes.
Emily Hubbard,
Yes.
Shanice Johnson,
Yes.
Kimberly Johnson Miller,
Yes.
Yvette Levy,
Yvette, are you there?
I'm sorry.
She's in her car.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yes.
that was a yes, okay. Jennifer Orr,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
So again, we have 10. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on. Legislative rules and regulations. That would be Dr. Yvette Levy and Doris Walker.
Dr. Levy, do you have anything to say?
You're breaking up, Dr. Levy.
Okay. I will say
Having trouble. We're having trouble. You're breaking up. We can't hear you. You want to start over?
I'll say my car.
Okay.
I'll save comments for next time. I'm in my car. We don't have a report.
Okay.
Okay. When it comes to the modification, I think we need to modify all of this because we're getting ready to have two new board members, which is going to take us up to 13.
We're going to talk about that in the attorney's report, just some considerations with that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Discuss that here shortly.
All right, and personnel and professional contracts. Bobby Richardson and Candace Carter Oliver. You all have a report?
No, not it.
No report?
Louis, yeah, no report.
Okay, thank you.
I would just mention that we are working on the RFP for the audit firm. That was part of our RFP schedule. So we'll be sending out information to the trustees probably in September, early October, about what the progress is on that. So,
okay,
so
did everybody hear
stay
that?
tuned.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Sue. I think you did say that the something would be ready, or the official RFP would be ready on the 22nd. Did you say that?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Very good. Okay. We'll post it, make it public on the 22nd.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, new business, Sue?
I don't have any.
All right, and report of the attorney, which would be an executive session. Is that right? So we'll go into executive, close the meeting and go into executive session. Is there a motion? Someone want to read that motion?
I make a motion to close the meeting, that all records and votes to the extent permitted by law pertaining to and or resulting from this closed meeting be closed under revised statute Missouri 610-02.021, 1 and 12 for the purpose of having confidential and privileged communication with the legal counsel for public school retirement system of St. Louis on legal or contract matters.
There's a second?
Richardson second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Candace Carter Oliver.
Yes.
Louis Cross.
Yes.
Emily Hubbard.
Yes.
Shanice Johnson.
Yes.
Kimberly Johnson Miller.
Yes.
Yvette Levy.
Yes.
Jennifer Orr.
Yes.
Bobby Richardson.
Yes.
Albert Sanders.
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
All right. And the motion carries. And then Dave, if you could.
Yep. Want me to share my screen?
Yeah, let me stop sharing, and then if you could put up that little blurb, and then we'll go into closed session.
Let me make sure I can do this here.
Perfect, thank you.
Is that working?
Yeah.
Okay.
So get here and then we'll.
Okay.
Actually, he's working. Somehow you knew he had early onset dementia, a condition that clearly affected his handwriting.
Hi. All right, I think we're back.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before we motion to adjourn, I just wanted to say at this convention here, this hotel is very nice. It's a nice resort. Of course, you know I missed the opening session by being at the board meeting, which the board meeting is my heart, not conventions. Tomorrow is the opening session, and I will bring back a lot of information.
Looking forward to it, Doris, and thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great evening, everyone.
All
Happy
right.
first day.
Yeah, look forward to
Yes.
school starting.
You too.